Doctor Who Espresso, and today we're very fortunate enough to have a brand new Doctor Who figure set to unbox. I haven't done a figure unboxing for a while. In fact, I think my last Doctor Who figure unboxing was the last Character Online exclusive, which was the second Doctor and TARDIS from the Abominable Snowman. And today we're here to talk about this, which is the Doctor Who Warriors of the Deep set, which obviously features 3 classic Silurians from the story from season 21. And now this, I will be honest, is not a story I'm overwhelmingly fond of. I have watched it a couple of times, but I do personally prefer this Silurian design over the original one. I think it's a bit better realised. And obviously this is the one where I more associate with what I think the Silurians should look like, maybe. Because the new series ones, although I have a lot of nostalgia for the new series ones, They look a bit too human, whereas, I mean, it kind of makes sense from a design's perspective as we're supposed to evolve into them in a way, I suppose. But I do prefer, particularly this realised version of them, where they do look quite more professional than the original ones, which look very much like rubber masked creatures. But yeah, this is the set. We got 3 of them in this set. These 2 are just the same, and then you got 1 with the light on. We'll get onto them and then you get out the box. This is of course in the 5.5 inch / 14 centimeter scale. It's from Character Options Online. Doctor Who, you got the TARDIS, your legal stuff on there, including the new UKCA logo, I think. I don't know what that is really. That just appeared over with some of the recent B&M sets. Doctor Who. A picture of the 3 Silurians, which look much better in person than they do on the promotional image there, or indeed online. It is a collector figure set, and it is of course includes the Silurians Iktar, Tarpok, and Skybus. And then you got a bio on the story, including very thorough bio by the looks of it, going all the way to the end there with that iconic final line, "There should have been another way." You got a bit on the Silurians, a bit behind the scenes story. It's just a bit odd. I always think of this story being from season 20, because in season 20 they had this whole thing about bringing back a new villain, or an old villain, or an old character in every story. So like, for instance, I think in I can't remember I think in Arc of Infinity they obviously had Omega. And then there's another story where Turlough's introduced and they bring back the Brigadier or something. And obviously there's the Black and White Guardians stuff going on in that series as well. So I always associate the Silurians being in that season, but I'm not wrong. I'm actually wrong. These are from season 21. And then again, you got the same information about the Silurians, Iktar, Tarpok, and Skybus. And I'm just going to call them, I don't know, Bob, Jeff, and Angela, I guess. And you got some nice visibility of the Silurians actually inside the box if you want to keep them, including in the way they're positioned. You've got this lovely view of the back of the Silurian actually there as well, which you might not necessarily get if they were all facing forwards like Bob in the middle there. So yeah, let's get them out of the box. Out of the box you get a nice view of this lovely 3D diorama, which to me, I know, I don't think anyone said this, but to me this looks like Spider-Man's head. I do believe this is somewhat removable, I could be wrong, there's like tape on the bottom, but it's quite a nice little Silurian ship diorama, and you've got the sort of sea base there as well as some weird triangles if you look right round the edge there. And some weird matrix looking writing in the corner there too. But yeah, it's quite a nice little Silurian setup. I think we'll just film the rest of the Silurians in there, I think, once I unleash them from their plastic shackles. So here they are, and as you can see, if I bring these 2 together, the only real difference between any 3 of these figures are the little lights on top. And I believe in the story and in the original Silurian story, these lit up when they were talking in a similar vein to how the Daleks do, although I think actually in the original Silurian story they actually used as a weapon, as a sort of gun thing. I think I remember that. I do have to say, of the Silurian stories, my favourite is probably the Hungry Earth and the Cold Blood, so I'm more familiar with the stories where they're not got these little light things, but I have to say I think they are a cool little addition, and they do feel like they bring the Silurian design together really well. In the promo shots, I don't think they've really done these figures any justice, because I remember seeing them, and my first gut reaction was they look a bit cheap or a bit like plasticky, and they still do to a certain extent, but they've had a much thicker dark wash to them, which wasn't visible in the original promo pics, I don't think. And I also really love their little silver eyes as well. And the sculpting details on, it's a shame that a lot of the pieces have been reused from the Sea Devil, which I'll get in a minute, because there's some really great little scales details on the arms and on the face, and they're really gone all out on the sculpts for the head especially, which is some really nice details on the back of the head, including those really tiny like scales on them. They really feel like an actual creature, not just a rubber monster, which is what they do feel like in the show. Even this shell, although it's basic, it is very effective, particularly with the sort of dinosaurian sort of spine on the back and the weathering they've applied to it, which again isn't really visible on the promo pics. I don't necessarily I think the shell bit is the thing that annoyed me in the program, because in the original thing they sort of have this sort of like weird beard type thing. I don't know how else to describe that, going down their chest, which I quite liked. I'm not a great fan of the shell, but I do like the little, I didn't even notice this sort of, I don't know, what's the word for it, spine thing in the actual shows. It's a nice little detail they've added here. I guess it was on the original costume. There's some nice articulation here. As I said, this is reused some bits from the Sea Devil, so there's some nice joints here, if you move that out, which is sort of nice sort of flexibility when posing, particularly for like photos or on your shelf or if you're playing with them. You got a nice little pointing figure, so you can just like, I've had an idea, and then proceeds to kill the Doctor or something. And so yeah, as I mentioned, they have reused the Sea Devil body. I have actually got the Sea Devil, so I will bring it over and compare in a minute. But they have not reused the feet, I can tell you that much. They sort of look like weird, I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of giving me, just something. It's giving me something sea related that I can't think what, like sea shells, sea crabs, something. It's giving me something sea, oh, sort of mammoth, sort of hooves. There's sort of hooves, which is a bit odd for the Silurians really, but yeah, as I said, there's some really sharp sculpting, and I really like the application of the black wash. I do think if they were to make this any better, I would maybe have had this be a little LED and have them like light up red, rather than having one just with a red, so that looks like it's constantly talking, and the other one look like they're constantly not talking. I mean, I guess it does kind of work because there's only ever going to be one talking at a time, unless they're rude, I guess. But you know, it would have been nice to have that little extra feature, particularly given that this set was £30 and you're not really getting much sort of in the way of like variety. You're just getting 3 little Silurians. I mean, it's great for army builders. I'm not much of an army builder myself, really. I bought 2 Sensorite sets, but only because I accidentally ordered one on eBay and just thought, well, I can customise the other one. But, you know, it would just be nice to have some variety, even if it was like a Turlo figure, maybe. I still do really love this set. I love the detail and effort that's gone into them, even the little sort of green screen sort of communicated thing. But there are a lot of reused parts, even though it is a character online exclusive and £30. I mean, admittedly, I think it's about half new tooling and half reuse. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's still some very nice little new details put into these figures, which we might not have got if they'd been in a B&M set. I know a lot of people have said that they maybe do a 70s Silurian from the Silurians. But, I mean, if this had to be a character online exclusive, I don't see them necessarily doing a new, I don't know, we'll see. It's a possibility, and I'd definitely love to see them. I do love the Silurians, actually. I think they would make a great little monster. I do think they've been somewhat done to the best of their abilities. They can't really do any new things with the Silurians, but they're very fun. I always love seeing the memes of, if the new series had used the classic Silurian design, if Vastra had been like these, it would have been very funny to see her kiss Jenny, which just seems amusing to me. But yeah, they are a fun little design. I'll get the Sea Devil figure to show you the reused bits. So here we have a new series Silurian as well, so you can see the vast difference in the design. I mean, these look a lot bulkier than the sort of more streamlined, modern looking Silurians. I mean, I like both designs. I think both have their own like advantages and disadvantages. I feel like this is a nice... I like to think of the Silurians as having different evolutions, maybe. And maybe that the newer ones are more close to human, hence the more human-like facial features as well. But I do also love how faithful the new Legends of the Sea Devils design has been to the Sea Devils, which I've got here. And you can see here the bits of the Sea Devil which they've reused there, the legs, and I believe the arms, although you can't really tell because mine has still got the netting, and I'm not going to remove the netting. I believe I have been told that the fingers have been reused from the Zygons, because they got the little Zygon sucker fingers, which I guess would make sense. I haven't got a Zygon, so I can't show you that, but you can very clearly see the reuse of the Sea Devil sculpt here in particular, which is a bit annoying because there are some really nice sculpting details, like I said, the scales in the hands and on the face, which would look great all across the Silurian. So it's kind of a disappointing in that respect, but it's still, I mean, it works. I think at the end of the day, if it works, and it's sort of a very smart reuse of the sort of sculpt, I just wish that, you know, I just wish that we could have more sort of scales imprinted in bits here and there, but I guess it's better than having nothing at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, I think this is a fun, nice little set that I don't think anyone really ever expected to get sort of classic Silurians or anything on this scale in terms of new sculpting / tooling ever again. So I guess at the end of the day, it's just nice to have this kind of opportunity to have anything like this at all. I would love to see more new series stuff, particularly a Joe Martin figure for the Fugitive Doctor or a Sacha Dhawan Master. I don't think it's necessarily that likely at this point anymore, sadly, but I'd love to see it nonetheless. And this does give me hope that maybe there is potential for new tooling and sculpting, particularly by supporting this set. I think it might encourage characters to at least make more newish figures rather than just reusing lots and lots of pieces like they have done with the, I think it's the Axon body from the Claws of Axos set originally, but it's nice to get some new bits and pieces, and who knows, maybe these new bits and pieces can be reused in other sets as well, so it'll be interesting to see what potential they provide as well. So yeah, overall I really like this set. I really love these in hand. I think they actually have a lot of sort of, they're very dominant figures, I guess. They look very huge actually. They look a lot bigger than I expected them to be. I was sort of expecting them to be a bit more petite maybe because the new series Silurians are quite small, in particular next to the classic Silurians. But yeah, they look quite nice. It's a shame we didn't get a Sea Devil from this story, because I reckon they would have looked really great together too. So yeah, overall I give this set a thumbs up. It's a really nice little set, particularly if you do like Warriors of the Deep, or indeed if you don't. I quite like this set, and I don't particularly like Warriors of the Deep. But yeah, fun little set. I think the little designs and costumes are really nice. Sculpting's great. The articulation is pretty much standard for these kind of figures of the time. So yeah, thanks for watching and goodbye.